Hello heroes, and welcome back to the Dirge. This is going to be the 5th installment of the 25 game series I'll publish on YouTube, chronicling my progress in Hero League so far this season. Up until now we've had some good games and some bad games. I'm hoping to get some positive feedback from players better than myself and players on the same skill level as myself. Disclaimer, as always, I am not a Master or Grandmaster. If you're looking for Master or Grandmaster play, you're looking in the wrong place. If you're here to learn, welcome to the club, because that's exactly what I'm here for. I try to keep the videos short, so we'll jump right into the replay. This is a game, I did pick Fenix again. He's my hero of choice, trying to grind up the ranks for numerous reasons. His shield makes a nice little buffer for trading in the solo lane if I have to. He can offer good sustained damage, nice little burst with Arsenal synergy at level 1. I know I'm not quite as disciplined as I should be sometimes, counting to 3 repeater attacks before switching over to my pulse. Sometimes I get a couple extra repeaters off. But ultimately it's been working fairly well. I feel my performance, particularly in these games, has been where I want it to be. I know there's room for improvement, and that's what I'm looking for. So as you see here, we have a decent comp: Brightwing, Tracer, Johanna, myself, and Sylvanas. Sylvanas offers to do top lane. I typically prefer to do top lane on Braxxis because I do feel like I'm a stronger player than most enemies that I come across in Bronze and Silver. And on Braxxis especially, if I can hold down that top lane and leave it up to my 4-man team to take bottom, that's giving us a good advantage, because at least I know I'm securing one variable out of the 2 objectives. I'm securing that top lane, I'm securing that top point. As Fenix, I can win the lane oftentimes instead of just not losing it. So initial engagement here, I'm looking for strengths and weaknesses in my team and their team. Their Gul'dan overextends, shows me that he's going to be a liability on their team and to aim for him when I can. Ragnaros does the same thing here. He ends up getting punished for it. Takes a death from Tracer. As you see, I sit back, just poke from a distance, keep throwing in phase bombs. I try to take out their minions here. It's a very short lane, so I know if I can kill their minions, my lane minions will collapse on them, and that does more incidental damage that people oftentimes don't have to take, but they decide to stay in the engagement, taking damage from us and the minions versus backing out and just keeping the lane safe, keeping their structures safe. So it ends up offering up a lot of extra kills and a lot of extra damage. Ragnaros gets punished a second time. Very similar situation. The lane minions were doing damage on him, my team was doing damage on him, and he gets punished for being a little overly aggressive too early in the game. So I'm trying to keep an eye on top lane just to see how our Sylvanas is faring up here. I know Urel's a very strong solo laner, and I see our Sylvanas' health is dropping. So I want to make sure that she's not having too much of a struggle up there, but again, she wanted top lane, so I'm giving her the chance to prove that she has what it takes to hold it down. Our 4-man down here is doing well. We're holding off their 4-man. We've already secured 2 kills. We got the point. Now, I'm not just going to sit on the point and let them know exactly where I'm at. So I do try to keep a distance, poke from a distance, get that safe damage off without letting them kill me. We end up trading kill there, Muradin, and Sylvanas dies in the top lane. Once again, our 4-man's pretty much dominating here, while Sylvanas is losing the top lane for us. But Tracer goes up, tries to take her stab at Urel up there to see what she can do. Now, I know Tracer's not going to have enough damage to outright kill Urel fast enough to actually contribute anything, but at the same time, I don't want to leave, now that I know there's 2 people up top, I don't want to leave 2 of my teammates down here to take on 4 of theirs if they stay with the same 4-1 split that they have. So now you notice it's 4 on 3, and we're still holding them off the point. We're doing a fairly good job defending bottom point, even though we have a numbers disadvantage here. End up securing another kill on Ragnaros. Evens the fight out. Now it's 3 on 3, even though we're being currently out-traded. Our Johanna's low health, our Brightwing's half health, my shields are gone, so we do end up having to back out for safety reasons just to not offer them any free kills, essentially. Tracer rotates down, Gul'dan decides to stay on the point rather than just securing it and backing up to a safer position, and he takes a death for it. And now we're back to having 4 down on the bottom. And it's supposed to be 1 on top, but Johanna's coming down here. I do believe she ends up rotating to the top to take on Yrel. Yeah, there she goes. Our Johanna's going top now to take on Yrel rather than us be all clumped together at the bottom. It's probably a good choice for either her or myself. Johanna's probably a better choice to go against Yrel than I am. So just letting them trade into my shield a little bit, doing safe damage from a distance with the phase bomb, just poking away, getting my plasma cutter out there when I can. When I see their Ragnaros overextending, now that they've identified themselves as a weakness on the enemy team, I try to punish him as much as possible. People always say try to go for the squishy targets before going after the tanks, the healers, who have more survivability than the squishies. But I find it's better to go after whichever of their team is leaving themselves in a vulnerable position. If I do damage, especially as Fenix, if I do damage on Muradin, get three repeater cannons off, I know I have a charged up phase bomb that I can drop on the healer when they finally respond to the Muradin. So I end up getting a kill there on Lily. She's trying to support the Muradin, leaves herself vulnerable, and I killed her with that charged up phase bomb after I got 3 repeater cannons off on the Muradin and herself. They try to trace her, chasing the unchaseable. So I come back up. You notice I get repeater blast, then I drop a phase bomb on him for a little extra burst. Gul'dan's once again sitting on the point and not backing up, leaving himself vulnerable, pays the price for it. Now he's finally secured both points, starting to count up. Just watching this engagement, making sure that we keep our point here. Sitting in the smoke, just looking at the top lane, making sure that it's still safe up there. It's not offering up any kills. Waiting for them to come in so they don't notice my position. It's easy enough to guess somebody's sitting in the smoke, but I'd rather just not let them know exactly where I'm at. Maybe, hopefully, they think I'm rotating top to offer assistance up there. So I get some repeaters on Yrel, end up getting the kill there. I know I have a charged up phase bomb at this point. And a lot of times what I do is I try to hold on to that charged up phase bomb and use it at an opportune moment. I end up using it there, and it does do some splash damage on the Gul'dan, who's lower health. Now the Gul'dan's really scared and is going to choose to back off here. Now, since they've changed Braxxis, the baseline Zerg wave is a lot stronger than it used to be. So it incentivizes teams to stay split, even if the enemy team got very little Zerg. They actually get, I think it's a Mutalisk, some Hydralisks, Ultralisk I think it's called from StarCraft. I can't remember exactly what the names of the Zerg are, but the baseline Zerg wave essentially is stronger than it used to be. So I made the decision here that it was better for me to stay in bottom lane for a counter push instead of taking the time it would take for me to run to the top lane and try to push with that Zerg. Now I'm going to rewind here just to show you what I did and what I saw. Even though I'm pushing in the bottom lane, I try to keep my eye on the top lane. I know the Zerg wave's up there. I know I have friendly teammates up there who are trying to get a push out of it. But I'm keeping my eye on the exchange between our healer and our tank going against their team. So when I see Brightwing come in here, they end up making a pretty heads-up play and catching her a little out of position. Right after her ultimate, it's right around here. She gets caught out of position, stunned, and they're starting to chase her down. Johanna does a nice peel, but I want to make sure that they don't take her down and continue to chase. So I try to just use, I wasn't intending to get a kill there. I was just intending to do exactly what it did. It made their Gul'dan, instead of making the right choice and continuing forward with that push, it made him double back and turn back around. So now, my team, I believe it was my Tracer, was pinging on this camp here to get it. Their team came down to respond and chase us away. Our Sylvana stayed in and ended up taking a death for it, but Tracer and I immediately retreated to come get our camp. Now on Braxxis, it's important to note that these camps are a lot stronger than these camps. So if they're pushing against each other in this lane down here, our camp's going to win this lane. Just because this type of camp is stronger than the type of enemy camp they're pushing at us. Ragnaros does do some damage on that wave. And if it wasn't for Ragnaros coming up here and helping his minions in his camp kill our camp would have finished off that wave, that wave of minions and their camp without them doing any structural damage at all. But their team does come up here, get some structural damage in enough time before Johanna and I can respond. But they see us coming, they end up backing off. I don't want to go chasing, so I instead decide to clear this minion wave instead of engaging the enemy team to save our structures.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
You never know. We only have a little bit of health left on the towers, but the 1 or 2 tower shots they can get off on somebody could be the difference between life and death if somebody decides to overextend. So now we have a 2-level advantage. Give you a quick look at the stats. 10.5 minutes into the game, 6 kills, 0 deaths, 35,000 siege, 40,000 hero damage. It's almost double what anybody on my team is doing. Best on their team is 36,000. Sylvanas is the one solo laning, so she's doing a good job doing what she should do, clearing minions, getting experience for our team. And even though her kill death doesn't show that, she is doing a decent enough job in the solo lane to give us an experience lead. Now here I noticed that there was more of them or less of them in the top lane than there was not showing on the map or that I could see in the bottom lane. So instead of going down and taking an uneven fight with just Brightwing and myself, I decided to stay up top and make sure we could secure this lane for our team before thinking about anything else. As long as we can keep them from having both at the same time, we can keep them from winning the objective. I'm not sure if it was the right decision, but it's the decision I made at this time and place. It does end up paying off, and to me that the ends justify the means. We end up securing the lane. They can't build any progress on their Zerg wave, even though we're pretty much letting them have bottom. we're securing top and holding off any progress they'd be making on building up a Zerg wave for the objective. Now there, I wanted to keep attacking the Lily, but she was smart enough to back out of an engagement she knew she couldn't win, while Muradin wanted to stay hard engaged. So if you want to stay in and die, I'd be more than happy to oblige. At this point, I know we got a numbers advantage. It's not going to hurt anything for me to at least come down and scout bottom. Urel is showing on the map, so I know where she's at. I know I'm safe here to come up and take the point. I don't know if she doesn't see, doesn't realize, or just doesn't respond fast enough, but she does let me take the bottom point. We get a couple ticks on the Zerg wave. Then my team shows up on the backside. I finally engage on Urel once I have a little bit of help from my team. She pops her ultimate to stay alive here longer, but she's not getting a solid push behind from her teams. She runs out of her ultimate, which cancels it, so I know now she's taking full damage. Ragnaros pays the price. And we believe we get another kill or two out of this engagement as well. Yep, there's another one. Urel ends up paying the price. And there it is. There's that common mindset of getting the squishies. Urel is not a squishy. She's one of the harder heroes to kill, but she's the one who stayed vulnerable for long enough for us to capitalize on that and get a kill. Same thing with Gul'dan. Gul'dan has self-sustain. He tried to drain life, and he was right there next to Lily. But if I'd have switched over to Lily, Gul'dan would have gotten away. It's about attacking the right person at the right time when they're the most vulnerable to capitalize on that and give your team the numbers advantage. Now I know when a couple of them are down, we have some time there. So I go over, it's level 15, I have auxiliary shields at this point, so I know I can pretty much take a camp without sacrificing any of my health. And somebody asked, why camp? I'm assuming they're asking, why would we get a camp right there instead of just staying on the bottom point? That question will be answered in time. So we secure bottom points. I see almost their whole team is showing in the top lane. But I don't want to give them the opportunity to come down and secure bottom point when we're not paying attention, or overcommit myself to the top lane and leave bottom lane completely undefended. Instead, I choose it would be a better investment of my time to try to take that camp. Unfortunately, I don't end up getting it before their team shows up. They don't go for the camp, they just choose to chase me off and come down for the bottom point. In which case, Urel basically just sits there and lets me get a bunch of damage off on her without even trying to escape, without trying to counter it, without anything else. But this is why the camp, I feel, was a good choice at that moment, because now they have to commit 2 of their players to come back here and spend their time countering that camp versus taking the objective. So that camp's actually pushing up far enough into their structures that it's making their team dedicate some of their resources, buying us time to secure the objective for our team. Double kill on Muradin and Ragnaros there. Now I try to sit. I know that the enemy team's going to be doing damage to our minions. They're going to be casting AoEs in the minions. So I try not to sit directly in the middle of the minion wave, but off to one side or the other so I can get my damage off and still be safe at the same time, to know that I'm not going to be hitting with Gul'dan's corruption with his waves. With Ragnaros's meteor that he drops down. This is going to end up being game for us. And I know at this point we've pretty much secured the game in our favor. But hey, if somebody wants to come out and give us another free one for fun, I'm more than happy to take it from them. So you see Ragnaros comes out, runs in the group, kill him with a charged up phase bomb, go right back to finishing off their core. And that gets us a win on Braxxis Holdout in Game 5 of my placements. End stats. What is that? 13 kills? 12 kills? 12 or 13 kills, 0 deaths, 63,000 hero. 13, 8 and 0. I feel it's a pretty successful game. had a good team surrounding me there for the most part. Not a lot of people were offering up free takedowns. They weren't allowing the enemy team to counter us, and we come out with the victory. All successful in Game 5. At this point, I believe I'm 4-1 in my placements. Won 4 games, lost 1. 3 of the 5 games I've played, I've gotten MVP in. And the reason I'm making this 25-game series is because I want people to pay attention to how my match quality degraded after my placements. In my placements, I was getting matched with people who were in Silver League. After my placements were done, I got placed after going 7 wins, 3 losses as a Bronze 1. And after my 10 games of placements, my match quality seriously degraded. So I know I can't influence the match quality. I can't influence my teammates, but I can influence my own play. And that's why I'm posting videos here, so people can hopefully give me some criticism on my play and help me better influence the things that I actually can play a part in, so I can grind out of bronze. I do appreciate you guys watching. I hope you're enjoying the videos as much as I'm enjoying making them. Please like, subscribe, comment in the section below.